I've obviously not done a Tanks Talks for quite a while, and I feel like it is perhaps a little bit overdue that I actually get one done. Um, but I wanted to keep it kind of supernatural, non-edited, completely kind of off the cuff and from my head and how I really, really feel. Um, because I have been a little bit quiet on this front, and I've not really kind of been very forthcoming with podcasts or Tank Talks or anything like that. And I have got a couple of reasons for it. So yeah, let's have like a super chilled, super relaxed, super natural Tanks Talk. So the main reason that I have been missing was because of half term. So we had obviously Easter break, and that forced me to take like a little bit of a backseat because the kids were at home. I took some time off work. I took, a little bit easier time on content in general. And then I kind of dealt with almost the anniversary of the close of my previous business, which was a year. Um, and it kind of hit me quite hard, but it also hit me hard in the sense that I realised it's time for me to let go, and it's time for me to kind of be a little bit more open with that scenario, how I felt. I'm not going to do it on this episode or on this podcast. I don't know if it will be a podcast, but it's something that I feel like in order for me to kind of close the door on, I need to do something that is actually quite cathartic for me. So that kind of led me to be a little bit quiet. And then I had a bit of like imposter syndrome. Like, I can't lie, I noticed like everyone and their mum suddenly had a podcast. And I was like, shit, although I've had mine for quite a while, do I really belong here? Like, I see other people like opening up a podcast and they're literally getting like tens of thousands of like listeners and views, and I started to really overanalyze myself. And then I've had a bit of a word myself, and I'm like, well, actually no, because your podcast is different. Like, I'm here almost like as my little diary, as my own little voice, more than anything else. So like, I think we all get elements of imposter syndrome sometimes, and that is normal, but it's fighting it. So kind of, I suppose today's episode is mainly about social media and kind of what actually happens there, and how it's kind of taken a grip on my life at times. I like started social media completely by accident. I still don't do it full time. It's not my job to be a content creator. I'm a business owner, I'm a coach. I don't think content creation will ever be my full-time job. I couldn't see that happening, simply because I don't think I would be satisfied with it. And in all honesty, like, I did for a little while start taking my content creation a lot more seriously and thinking, okay, could I turn this into a job? When actually it just done my head in. Like, the numbers, the analytics, the engagement, the views. I lost more followers on Instagram over the last 6 to 9 months than I've gained. Like, my following has just dropped massively. It's probably because I started changing the dynamic of my content. So I started being a lot more raw, a lot more open and natural. I started posting a lot more fitness content, because that's what I love. And that may not be what people want to see, but ultimately that was really, really driving me up the wall. And I started to kind of seek validation from complete strangers on the internet all of a sudden, which I'd never done before. I started to feel the need to almost completely absorb my whole life out there for people to see, just so that I'd be relevant. I saw my best mate last night for the first time in, I think, about 6 months, and I hadn't realised that it had been 6 months since I saw him. So it kind of really took me out of touch of reality, and even leading up to seeing it, and I was like, oh, I'm knackered, I can't be bothered, or I don't want to go out, but in the back of my head I was like, all that you're going to do is you're going to sit on a social media app, you're probably going to post on that. Like, actually go and be with real people. It doesn't matter how tired you are, and trust me, I'm always tired. But go and sit and actually be. And you don't realise how much, when it starts to become a part of your everyday life to post, or a part of your job to post, kind of how much it changes your mindset on life, and how much the online world starts to become so much more relevant and stronger than the real world. And that's quite kind of sad. I got interrupted by a delivery man. Um, no, so TikTok is a platform that me and Kelly met on. There is where everything started for us. It's where my following started. It is what did birth my huge business. Like, TikTok has given us a lot. If it wasn't for TikTok, I wouldn't have my wife, I wouldn't have my second daughter. But it's also started to take away from our life a lot. And we've kind of, over the last probably 9 months, realised that every time we put ourselves on there, it makes us feel anxious, it makes us feel uncomfortable. We feel like we just almost outgrown the app. And we have tried so hard, like, partly because there's amazing opportunities work-wise on there, but also because we just didn't want to let go. We didn't want to let go of where we met and what brought us together and all of the content that was on there. So, you know, we pushed and pushed and pushed, but it has been at the sacrifice of how we feel. Kelly feels massively disengaged with it, and over time, since Dead Sweet, I felt more and more disengaged. I felt more and more like I just don't want to be a part of it anymore. And there's so much shit on there, I'm like, I just don't want to associate myself with this. Every time I go on my For You page, I'm just seeing drama, I'm seeing negativity, I'm seeing like dangerous people, to be fair, and I don't want that. So, you know, we had a gifted day out, which I've just put the YouTube vlog up for, with the family, to Thorpe Park. I literally posted an outfit of the day saying, like, we'd been gifted this day out. Oh my god, did people come for me. I was beggy. I needed to get a proper job. I needed to learn how to pay for things myself because everybody else has to pay for things. I was the most beggiest family and all of this shit. And do you know what? It fucking broke me. That was almost like the game over one for me. And I kind of stood back whilst I was in the middle of Thorpe Park with my family, with tears in my eyes, like, why am I doing this? Why am I constantly putting myself on this platform? Why am I constantly comparing myself to these other creators who I'm nothing like? Like, I love them, don't get me wrong, I think they're all brilliant. I think all influencers, content creators, whatever you want to call them, they're all great in their own right, and trust me, they're smart. They built these massive platforms. I built a massive platform, but I'm not like them. And in order for me to keep up with the Joneses and keep up with everybody, I have to be like them, and I can't do that. So, you know, it was a platform where I was really struggling to kind of be true to myself, and Kelly was as well. And I texted our management when I was in the middle of Thorpe Park, and I was like, look, this is game over for me with TikTok. I just don't want it anymore. I don't want to be affiliated with it. I don't want to do it. Any ads that I've got outstanding, like, I'll get them completed, but otherwise I just don't want to keep pushing this platform. And I think so many people are starting to feel that way. I got inundated with messages on my Instagram that day about how, you know, people had left, they'd had enough, that creators maybe needed to start realising that there were other platforms and that it wasn't healthy, and some of the just the way the public are made to feel on there. Like, if you can't do hauls, or if you can't go and buy this perfume or this product, or if you can't walk around in Palm Angels and all of this, is it Palm Angels? Is that what it's called? I don't even fucking know. All of that shit. Like, you're not relevant. It's almost like it's taken away from the human touch of life. And I kind of, it hurt. It hurt really, really bad. And I was like, am I just giving up? And then I had some messages that were like, oh, don't let them get to you. Don't let them win. And then I had one particular person message me, and I don't really know this person. They'd literally a follower that I'd had a few scarce conversations with. And they were like, well done. Well done for putting your mental health before anything else, for putting your family before anything else. They were like, this isn't about letting people get to you. That's just not getting to you, sorry. That's just putting a plaster over it. They were like, you've actually just dealt with it, kind of thing. And I was like, do you know what, thank you, because that's what I felt like, that's what I wanted to do and I wanted to achieve. And I think it's really easy for people to be like, oh, don't worry about it, it'll go over your head, don't listen to them. Well, when you're getting hounded and inundated, and that's kind of all you're really getting, at what point does that transaction stop? At what point do we like say, okay, this is not worth it anymore? Because for me, it was that point. What people don't realize is that, you know, I've been in a bit of a shit financial situation for the last kind of nearly year now. Following the closure of my last business, my income changed dramatically. I had to open up a business from scratch to support my family. I had loads of stuff going on, and I don't need to explain myself to the internet, but ultimately, do you know what, I couldn't have afforded to take my kids to Thorpe Park. I wasn't in that position. So the fact that we were gifted those tickets, and the fact that in exchange all they wanted was a little bit of content, I was like, that's an amazing opportunity for my children. Yes, let's do it. And anybody in their right mind would take them, whether they could afford it or not. They'd be like, yeah, amazing, I'm still there for some kind of work purpose. But unfortunately, the world of TikTok is a different place. Instagram is a much nicer, much more supportive, community filled platform. I know that we're not the only creators getting it, but I can only speak for our situation. I can't speak for other people's. YouTube is a tough platform to grow on, but you know what? I love the type of content we can produce. And I just think I'd had knock after knock on social media, and it's almost been a good thing and a bit of a blessing in disguise that it's happened, because it's made me reevaluate the type of content that I'm putting out there. And I was finding that I was dumbing down my content a lot. I was making content that I thought would appeal to other people, but maybe wasn't feeling quite so true to me. I was feeling really quite negative about myself, my life, where I was at, the fact that I wasn't as successful, the fact that I didn't have 90,000 followers and I wasn't continually growing every single day. In fact, my numbers were going down every single day, and you know, I was nervous to put certain things up, and that's just fucking insane. That's my platform and I own that platform. And I'm not there necessarily to attract masses that don't represent or go with me as a person. So in many senses, kind of having that moment of step back, of not being quite so active with podcasts, Tanks Talks, filming, this content schedule that I had set up to myself, made me reevaluate it and made me look at it a bit deeper. And I just think, in 100% honesty, there's a lot of people basing success off of follower accounts, or, you know, engagement is huge, you can't deny engagement, but follower accounts and how many likes a post's got or stuff like that, that's got fuck all to do with success. It really doesn't. It doesn't. For me, success is, are my children happy? Have we got everything we need? Are we making memories together? Do we have quality time? Am I seeing my best mate? My real life human people, are they in my life? Like, I went through a period of about 6 months where I barely saw my mum. Like, I just wasn't seeing her, I wasn't speaking to her, our relationship was almost falling apart. She's been my best friend my whole life. Why was I suddenly not seeing my mum? Well, she got ingrained in TikTok. I got absorbed with analytics and work and trying to make it better, and it just overtook. I think TikTok has got a lot to answer for right now. I think it's a much deeper subject than what I'm going to cover on here, but ultimately it's a platform that I don't want to put myself through anymore. And if that means sacrificing 863,000 followers that I have on there, so fucking be it. So be it. Like, it's not the be all and end all. It's ultimately, if those followers really want to keep up with me and really want to know where I am, they'll find me on Instagram or YouTube. They'll keep up with us elsewhere, where we are more active, where we are producing a lot more natural content than what we can produce on TikTok. And to be honest, the sheer fact that I won't even put our children on TikTok, and Kelly won't either, says absolutely everything about that app. It is dangerous, it's toxic, and I think it is not going to be long before true, kind of more serious creators step away from it. I think it's it's really heading for a rocky road. And yeah, I've had a wake up where I'm like, you know what, I'm not. Yes, I might be seen as an influencer. I hate that term. I've always hated it, and I tried to embrace it, but I absolutely hate it. I might be seen as an influencer, but I'm not. I'm not an influencer. I'm definitely not a TikToker. I don't want to be that. I want to be somebody that has a successful, thriving business, which I do. Like, I've got a business that's got the most insane community in it, a group of women supporting each other day in, day out. Like, I cannot fault that at all. I want to be somebody who has the ability to spend time with their kids, has the ability to step away, has the ability to make memories, that can grow a platform elsewhere that is content that is true to me and not just the same as every other person, or what's going to be the most trending, or what's going to be the most relevant now. Like, I'm past that point. I'm too old for that shit in my mid-30s, and it's not kind of true to who I am as a person. I joined TikTok initially. I've had Instagram for years and I've always loved Instagram, but I joined TikTok initially because I wanted to laugh, because it made me laugh. I thought it was fun. And the people that I met on there were they were incredible. And then suddenly it's changed and it's different, and it doesn't feel like that anymore. So yeah, it's I'm kind of looking at it as YouTube is a challenge for us to grow. And I'm looking forward to that challenge, and it may not be successful, it may be nothing like TikTok, and if it's not, it's not. But do you know what, we stay true to ourselves. And Instagram is, I've got 71.3 thousand people on there. Like, that's an incredible number, and I want to talk to them rather than keep trying to shoot up and up and up and up and get more and more people. I want to talk to the people that I have and actually build the community that I want my pages to have, rather than just reaching the next level and basing my success on a follower count, or, you know, the fact that my picture got 12,000 likes. Like, it just doesn't work for me. So yeah, I think I would love to do a full like podcast and full maybe kind of talk about the actual backsides of what I have seen on social media, because also some of those people you see on your screen in real life, they are nothing like nothing like that. They're not. And that's always really quite amusing. And then you've got other people who are much smaller creators, and you meet them in real life and it's like, oh my god, you're such a beautiful person. And yeah, that's interesting. But I just wanted to do like a short comeback one now. I don't know if I'll release this one on Spotify, probably because the sound's not going to be very good. But yeah, I'll be back properly with an actual kind of normal podcast fairly soon. Let me know in the comments actually what kind of content you want to see and what you actually want to see spoken about, because you know me, I will come in with all of those subjects that most people wouldn't. And yeah, thanks for kind of staying true and sticking by, and I love you loads. It's nice to be back speaking to my camera one-on-one. Even if I am sitting crocheting in my garden. And if I do put this on Spotify, you won't be able to see the fact that I am sitting crocheting in my garden, and that's probably why the sound is so bad. On a side note, this blanket is lush, and it is a beautiful day and it's roasting hot, so I will catch you all very soon. Love you, bye.